General Math students, we're continuing on from the previous video with our study of sequences that involve arithmetic and geometric parts. So if we look at this sequence here, 2, 3, 5, 9, 17, the difference equation that models this is shown below. So if we were to take that first term 2 and multiply it by 2, then take 1, 2 2s are 4, take 1 would give 3, which gives us the next term of the sequence. 2 3s are 6, take 1 gives 5, and so on. So we've got an arithmetic and a geometric part there. Let's look at V3.4, where the sequence is described to us and we need to write down the difference equation which models this. So you might want to pause the video and try this yourself, and then I'll have a go at it. Righto, so for this one we want to show how we get to the next term from the previous term. So I'll write those down there and I'm going to fill in the parts around them as appropriately. Okay, now the first term in the sequence, we can call it T0 or T1. I'll just call it T1 this time, and we need to write that down as well. Now that starts, or this sequence starts at 100, so that means that the first term of the sequence is 100. So we'll put that information there. Okay, now a sequence is formed by halving the current term. Okay, so to halve a term, we could multiply by a half or multiply it by 0.5. So I'll put that out the front. We don't need to put a times sign in there. That means times Tn. And then we're going to add 10, so we add 10 to that. And there is the difference equation. The first 4 terms of this sequence. Okay, so to get this, we're going to start with 100, and then we multiply that by 0.5 and add 10, and that means the next term of the sequence is 60. So the first term was 100, and then we get 60, and then we can just multiply that by 0.5 and add 10, and the next term's 40. And one more term to go. You might want to pause and figure that out. And this one is 30. Okay, so the last part of this is asking us whether the sequence is arithmetic or is it geometric. Well, the answer to both of those is no. And why is that? Well, because they have both arithmetic and geometric parts, so they're neither exclusively arithmetic or geometric. So no, as the sequence contains arithmetic and geometric parts. Or you could say linear for arithmetic and exponential for geometric. That's okay too. Right. We're going to look at the next example in this video. You might want to pause the video and try these yourself first, and then I'll show you what to do. Okay, so for this first one here, I'm just going to show you how to get the first few terms for these, and then I'll just write the rest down because I have already worked them out. So here we're going to start with a 2 because that's our first term of the sequence. And we're going to go 3 by 2, just using the rule as it's here. Take 2, and the next term is 4. We can just keep doing that, and you should get this sequence. That's a 28 there, by the way. Okay. Next one here, so we're going to multiply by a half and then add 100. So 0.5 times the first term in the sequence is 1,000, plus 100 gives us 600. So we start with 1000, then 600, and if you've done it correctly, this should be the rest of the sequence. Okay, now the percentage one. That might be a little tricky. For this one, we're starting with 180, so I'll write that down. That's the first term in the sequence. So to multiply that percentage, we need to convert that to a decimal, all right? So we divide it by 100, which gives us 0.7. So that's what we multiply by, not by 70. So 0.7 times 180 plus 20 gives 146. And then times 0.7 plus 20 gives 122.2. Okay, so if we go on like that, these are the next two terms in this sequence. Okay, so if you haven't tried the ones below, you might want to have a go at these first. It's like the first part of the previous question, where there's a sentence describing the sequence, and we need to write down the rule for the difference equation. So go ahead and try that, then I'll have a go at them. Okay, so for this one, we're multiplying the previous term. So Tn+1 is equal to the previous term times by 2.5. Don't really need that times in there. And then subtracting 6, so we take 6. The first term in the sequence is 80. You could put T0 there if you want. Up to you. Okay, now this one is a little trickier with the percentage in there again. So what we have here is a percentage increase. All right, we're increasing the previous term by 15%. So remember that that needs to be added onto 100%. A percentage increase of 15% means 115% of the previous term. And then that needs to be converted to a decimal, which gives us 1.15. That's the number. I know up here they used a percentage to multiply through, and that's probably okay, but I want you to get used to using this decimal in the equation, because that's how you need to work out one term, how to work out to get from one term to the next. So in this case, Tn+1 is equal to 1.15 of Tn, and we're taking $20 away. The first term in the sequence is 100. Now, because this is a financial one, I'm going to switch to T0 here. And when we do some financial questions later, that'll make sense why I'm doing that. But if you put T1, that's okay as well. Righto, so quite a bit covered there. Go ahead and look at the description in the video and try those questions.